The PMIPCC family. My name is Ranadeep Sapudi and I work as a project manager with experience of 16 plus years and also a volunteer with PMIPCC. I'm delighted to join you today as we celebrate not just incredible impact of Project Edge, but also the 25th anniversary of the PMI Pearl City Hyderabad chapter, a milestone that reflects two and a half decades of passion, learning, and transformative project leadership. Today, I want to talk about a topic that sits at the heart of every successful project stakeholder engagement. Whether we are delivering a complex project, digital transformation, enabling organizational change, or building something purely visionary, one truth remains unchanged. That is, projects don't succeed because of process alone. They succeed because of people. I hope we all agree with this. And that's what exactly what a stakeholder engagement is all about. Understanding people, aligning expectations, building trust, keeping the conversion flowing long before risk becomes realities. In my experience across the region, across the globe, working on different projects, one thing consistently stands out is the earlier we listen, the easier we lead. Stakeholders aren't obstacles to be managed, they are partners to be empowered. When we understand their motivations, their concerns, and their definitions of success, we turn potential resistance into lasting advocacy. So, today, as part of special celebration, let's explore how stakeholder engagement evolves beyond communication plans, status updates. Let's look at how curiosity, empathy, and transparency can transform the stakeholder experience and ultimate outcome of our projects. I'm excited to dive into these ideas with you today. So let's go with the next slide with the agenda. So the agenda for today is I'll be talking about a bit of what is exactly stakeholders and uh, what is the engaging stakeholders means, and will going across different processes and we'll be talking briefly on the stakeholder management versus we're going to compare what is a stakeholder management and what is a stakeholder engagement. And also, same time, we'll be touch basing on digital communication strategies for the stakeholder engagement. So let's go through what is a stakeholder engagement. So let us try to. I don't want to assume like what is a stakeholder uh, in first place, and I don't want to go in basics as well. So just let me define what is a stakeholder. Stakeholder is anyone who has any kind of interest in the project, either because they can affect the project in some way, the outcome or the process, or because they are affected in some other outcome or the processes. And the simple truth about stakeholder is that they who will determine the success or failure of your project. I believe everyone agrees with this. So let me define what is a stakeholder engagement. Stakeholder engagement encompasses the activities conducted to identify and analyze stakeholder needs and manage their expectations and communications to foster stakeholder support. Stakeholders are crucial part of project management and understanding and addressing their different needs, engaging them at the right time, keeping them properly informed, and communicating well are ways to maintain their engagement. Remember, it's on the right time and keeping them properly informed that is the most important. And research shows that an active project sponsor is a critical success factor in achieving positive outcomes from the project. So let me dive into what is the engagement involves. These are the few of the following considerations which I put it across uh, how the this process contains and how the how we can involve and what needs to be considered for the stakeholder engagement. The first foremost thing is a sponsor engagements. Sponsors are essential stakeholders who hold decision-making authority, secure human, material, or virtual resources, and ensure alignment with the organizational strategy and project objectives. Sponsors are typically involved in activities such as initiating the project, and defining the project objectives and the business case, approving the project charter and approving any changes to it, assigning and empowering the project manager, initiating a steering committee and being a member of it, approving the project manager management plan and any changes to it, ensuring the long-term benefits realization of project deliverables, proposing object termination, and authorizing project completion. In many cases, the project sponsor, especially on high priority projects, may be a member of the executive leadership team. This arrangement requires a special effort in understanding the needs and ways of communications that the better fit this type of stakeholder. Research shows that an active project sponsor is a critical success factor in achieving a positive outcomes from a project, as I told before. And and the next foremost thing is on the project satisfaction. Stakeholder satisfaction should be prioritized and integrated into the project objectives. The key to driving stakeholder satisfaction is maintaining a focus on continuous communications with all stakeholders, including customers and users, managers, executives, and team members to understand their needs and expectations, address issues as they occur, manage conflicting interests, and foster appropriate stakeholder engagement in project decisions and activities. The next thing is team engagement. Project team members are also critical stakeholders and should be treated as such. The work done and accomplished during the project comes from the team as well as recommendations on the way forwarding in a challenging decisions that are taken by the sponsors and the stakeholders regarding the direction of the project. And another foremost important is the communication management, how you manage the communications. Communication management is a crucial concept for keeping the stakeholders engaged. The way of communicating should be tailored based on the needs and the best fit for the stakeholders. So they have all the information they needed to make decisions and are aware of possible risks related to certain actions. Data driven decision making. Effective decision making is a critical responsibility for project managers, especially when securing timely decisions from stakeholders. This requires thorough preparation of supporting materials and ability to guide the decision making process. With the increasing volume and complexity of a project data, project managers can leverage AI powered tools to efficiently collect, analyze, and interpret data, generating actionable insights. AI technologies such as predictive analytics and data visualization can enhance the project manager's ability to present data driven recommendations, enabling stakeholders to make informed decisions with greater confidence and speed. Combining AI capabilities with strong leadership skills allows project managers to proactively guide stakeholders toward fact based and strategic decisions. And the last one is the vendor and supplier management procurement. Even though procurement is not a core part of the performance domain, there are important skills related to vendor management that the project management should have. Vendors and suppliers are important stakeholders in the projects where external resources are involved. In a specific industry such as construction, vendor management and procurement are key elements to the success of the project. Let us discuss on the processes. So engaging with them is a vital activity with stakeholders. Indeed, a number of years ago, you would have heard people like me talking about the stakeholder management. Now, I think I'm not alone in the feeling that this term stakeholder management is little old-fashioned because it assumes you can manage the stakeholders, and there seems just a little bit of disrespectful. So I prefer the term stakeholder engagement because it reminds me that our job really is, which is to engage our stakeholders in a conversation, to engage with them. And the stakeholder engagement process is very simple at heart. Of course, the devil in the detail and the difficulty is followed. That process is rigorously and ruthlessly day by day through the difficulties and trials of your process. I believe I just came across this a simple five-stage process. The first one is we identify who are the stakeholders are and what our objective is. Secondly, we analyze our stakeholders and the resources we have available with us. Third, we put together a plan. We put together a plan how we are going to conduct our engagement process and also what our messages are going to be communication a plan. The fourth step is to put the plan into action to make things happen and also to react to what we hear and learn from our stakeholders. And the final stage is to joins it all up together. It's a review stage, and in this stage, we examine what we are learning. Then we create a cycle of going back and applying. We are learning to reconsider our plan or to reconsider our analysis or even to bring in new stakeholders into our engagement process. So, five very simple steps, and it's a review and cycling back of a message successful. Because if you identify your stakeholder, you understand them, you put together a plan, you take action, you may get lucky, you may pursue your stakeholder, or you may find out everything you need to know from them, but you may not cycling back and understand where the communications gaps are, where the differences of opinion, and reformulating your plans accordingly and take more action, being persistent and addressing the concerns you hear, and that is the secret to a success with stakeholder engagement. So let us discuss on let us try to understand what is the difference between stakeholder engagement versus stakeholder management. So stakeholder management is often confused with stakeholder engagement is often confused with stakeholder management. Exactly what is the difference? At its core, stakeholder management is a systematic process designed to help you engage with the stakeholder. It examines the what, the who, and the who, whereas stakeholder engagement looks looks at how this will achieved. Some people mistakenly believe that putting across a process in place, they will gain the power to control their stakeholder. While might seem like it would make your job easier, it rarely works that way in reality. People are more likely to respond positively to your project if they are also connected, participating, and involved. Stakeholder engagement means building relationship with your stakeholder in a respectful and a constructive way. Uh, it's the how of working with stakeholder. This enables you to get the best out of the relationship and get the stakeholders on board with the project vision. So let us understand what are the key concept of stakeholder engagement and the management. So understanding the key terminology, as I told, what are the focus? Uh, so just to brief you, the stakeholder performance domain includes the process required to determine, manage, and control the stakeholder engagement of the process. And these are the few process which I identified. As a project manager, it is up to you to listen, to learn from, consult with, inform, and influence your stakeholders. Both stakeholder management and stakeholder engagement are vital, successful project delivery and are needed through the project life cycle, not just at the beginning. Stakeholder performance domain includes the process required to determine, uh, to manage and control the stakeholder engagement of the project. The following processes are included in the stakeholder performance domain: identifying stakeholders. The process is of identifying project stakeholder regularly and analyzing and document relevant information regarding their interest and involvement in interdependencies and influence and potential impact on the project success. Plan stakeholder engagement. The process of uh, developing strategies to engage identify project stakeholders based on their needs, expectations, and interest requirements and potential impact on the project. plan communication management, and the process of planning how to communicate with stakeholders both inside and outside the team. Manage the engagement, stakeholder engagement, the process of communicating, working with the stakeholders to meet the demands, expectations, and address issues and foster appropriate stakeholder involvement. And manage the communication, as I said, the process of ensuring timely and appropriately collection, creation, distribution, storage, interval management, and storing the ultimate disposition of project information. And monitor the stakeholder engagement, the process of monitoring project stakeholder relationship and tailoring the strategies for engaging stakeholders throughout the modification of the engagement strategies and the plans. Monitor communications, the process ensuring the information needs of the project and its stakeholders are met. So one of the important key item is you concern them proactively and to build the trust and ownership. So engage the activities and cultivate the trust and sense of ownership. And remember, stakeholders are the human and they are the most critical part. So show some empathy rather than managing them. So let us discuss on few of the what is the difference between the stakeholder engagement versus stakeholder management. I feel like stakeholder engagement differs from stakeholder management, and there are many interpretations and definitions. Communities of practitioners in different sectors, cultures, and locations have developed their own valid description as to what it is and how it is successfully practiced. So I feel like stakeholder management has become a frequently used term, which implies that the stakeholder behaviors and actions can be indeed be managed, that is predicted and planned and controlled. It's a process that examines that what and who stakeholder, whereas stakeholder engagement looks at how this is achieved and focused on building relationship, and it is practice of influencing a variety and of outcomes through the consultation and communication and negotiation and compromise, the relationship and the relationship building. They are both vital throughout the project's life cycle and enabling the successful project delivery. Over the past decade, now let's understand the how the digital communication works in this era of the digital age. Over the past decade, the way of communication has been changed to adapt the advancement of the technology and the digital era. Previously, stakeholders, uh, practitioners relied on traditional methods of hard copy, collateral, and face-to-face meetings. However, with the introduction of digital methods, practitioners are encouraged to consider the innovation in their engagement. A digital approach to stakeholder engagement opens the opportunity of multi-channel and cross-channel methods. With artificial intelligence systems, stakeholders' digital interaction and activities can be tracked to determine stakeholders' preference and predictive behaviors. The analytics provided by an AI can assist in personalizing concise communications aligned to the individuals and the group stakeholder. Establishing a positive reputation through genuine interaction can provide value to specific and overarching archiving engagement strategies. Transparency. Implementing a digital stakeholder engagement through allows for more transparent and authenticate stakeholder engagement. Using an online collaboration platform to engage stakeholders means there is a full audit trail of the activity, and you can easily publish documents and responses for any audience stakeholders. Digital tools see a practitioner continuing to engage in an authentic manner uh, whilst remaining in remote locations. Some tools can include online surveys, capturing stakeholders' reaction, uh, instantly can identify issues, objections, and support for the project. Engagement apps, practitioner can use different engagement apps uh, apps to provide belief concise information for to those who are on or time poor. The live data gathered can assist in shaping messaging across various platforms and communications for the one project. Gamification. I'm not that much interested in gamification, but this is one of the technique. By using the game thinking and game mechanics, practitioner can provide an entertaining way to encourage community participation, the exploration of scenarios and different perspectives. Stakeholders can solve problems easily. No, while I'm doing a course with a PMI in the PMI e-learning portal, I came across on the more. So let us understand what is the stakeholder engagement in the more. More, the latest PMI research shows that accessing projects by whether they meet the triple construct, whether if it's under scope, under the time and under the cost, is no longer a fully relevant in the world of hyper competition. Unstoppable regulations and policies, and fast paced innovation. More is a mindset shift that enables project professionals to deliver value focused project success. Here is how it's done. So more in M stands for the managed perceptions. Project professionals should be able to shape stakeholder understanding and influence how value is proactively throughout the project lifecycle. Recognition that different stakeholders define success in different ways. So, and the O stands for own the project success. This dimension emphasizes that project professionals should take full accountability for developing both tangible and perceived value, not just for completing tasks or managing scope or budget and schedule. And R stands for relentlessly reassess project parameters. To navigate today's constant change, project professionals should frequently revisit and adapt project parameters, goals, and success criteria in response to evolving conditions. Expand perspective. Project professionals should broaden their view behind the immediate project to consider how their work contributes to enterprise and the world, including environmental and social, societal, and uh, ethical dimensions. So let us talk on more on. Let me talk more on the managing perceptions, which is a part of stakeholder engagement, a project which is a project leader's responsibility. For a project to be recognized as successful, project leaders must proactively manage stakeholder perceptions. This requires a mix of strategy, communication, and relations building. So here, how it's done. So align on success criteria early. So PMI research found that projects that define success upfront achieve significantly higher success score. Project professionals can't rely solely on a project sponsor's perspective. They must engage multiple stakeholders to understand varied definitions of success. Continuously reassess the stakeholder perceptions. Perceptions evolve. So, what stakeholders consider valuable at the start may shift over time. So, it's very important to you understand their um, definition of the success regularly. So regular check to ensure the stakeholders remain aligned with project goals and outcomes. Adjust should be made proactively to prevent misalignment. And the other foremost important thing is storytelling with the data, framing metrics in a meaningful way. Data must be contextualized to resonate with stakeholders. Instead of reporting raw figures, connect them to business objective to ensure that they are presented with the context of the business. Example, instead of saying a project X reduced cost by 10, frame it as this project saved company $2 million annually, allowing for the reinvestment in a key growth area. Build trust through cognitive empathy, as I told earlier. Understanding how stakeholders think allows project leaders to anticipate concern and adjust communication accordingly. Leaders who determines empathy build stronger relationship and foster trust, ensuring the stakeholders feel heard and valued. Project success is a dynamic, the need for continuous reassessment. So project success is not static. stakeholder perceptions evolve throughout a project lifecycle. PMI research underscores that as business conditions change, expectations may shift, requiring project leaders to continuously reassess and adjust. If a project leader fails to adjust, success can erode, even if initial metrics were met. To maintain alignment and ensure long term project success, project leaders must take proactive steps. Regularly reassess stakeholders' priorities and expectations, communicate evolving success narrative to maintain alignment, be proactive in reframing project value as conditions change. The project leaders shape success not just by delivering value, but by ensuring the value is visible, clear, and appreciated in a similar way by everyone involved. By balancing hard data with active perception management, project professionals maximize the project success and elevate their impact. Let me conclude this whole session. So I feel like increased digitalization doesn't mean that the fundamentals of the stakeholders change. The stakeholder engagement is and always been about people. So with that in mind, remember that genuine human interaction will be important. Body language, emotion, and cultural accepts will still needs to be considered. A blended approach of digital and traditional methods will usually allow a practitioner to reach the broadest range of community members. And thank you all. Thanks for your time and watching this video. You have a successful career, and hope you like this uh, session of mine. Thank you, PMI Pulse Hyderabad chapter.